Hey there, family members! If you guys haven't seen Missing Link yet, you're missing out on the movie and this video, because I'm about to pick apart a weird piece of this movie, so run away now while you can! You have McGann, the Fangirl. Make sure you subscribe and check back every week for new fandom videos. What happens when a Bigfoot seeks an adventurer to find more of his kind? Well, it's a big adventure movie that's really quick-witted and funny. This is Laika's first time not using a child as the main protagonist, and I really love the love story in this movie. I won't spoil that bit in case you non-watchers haven't clicked away yet, but I will say I appreciated how they did that romance arc. Ultimately though, I ended up having 2 points in the movie where I was just like, huh? Wait, what? One was when our Sasquatch buddy Susan roars with excitement while in a horse-drawn carriage. And the camera pans back to show how far back you can hear this roar, yet the horses don't react at all. Okay, I know this is just me being picky, but horses are a really skittish bunch and they would jump out of their skins and run faster if they heard a monster behind them. I expect better from you, Laika. You're the studio about all the details. Then problem area 2, when Susan finally gets to Shangri-La to be with his extended family, they don't want him to stay. The queen or empress or whatever she was, IMDb just calls her the elder. She tells Susan that he's not welcome to stay with them. The elder even starts to give a reason why, but then it spirals into why she hates mankind.
There is no place for you among us.
But you're my kind, you're my family.
No, I think not. It seems to me you did not have to travel halfway around the world to find your kind. Man, killer of life, of hope, of dreams. Man talks of the magic of the world, but it is a prize. Something to be claimed as proof of his worth.
So yeah, no clear answer there at all. Which means I have a story gap to fill in! And thanks to the Kosai Science Museum and their exhibit on mythic creatures, I might actually be able to explain why the Yetis rejected Susan. Now, to dissect what the elder actually said, when Susan gets told he can't stay, he says, "But you're my kind, my family." And the elder specifically tells Susan, "No, I think not. It seems to me that you didn't have to travel halfway around the world to find your kind." And she says this while she's glaring at Sir Lionel. That's all the reasoning we get as to why Susan can't stay. The elder also calls Susan a redneck and a country cousin, which, while derogatory, still doesn't give us any information. Why don't they like him? Aside from that, the only relevant thing the elder says is why she hates men, which makes no sense. Unless you've seen this really weird tapestry piece at Kosai. And I do need to give a really special shout out to Kosai. Thank you guys so much. I had gone to the Mythic Creatures exhibit, but I had no clue I'd be doing this video at the time. So I messaged Kosai on Instagram to see if they would help me out, and they totally came through and sent me these images. So thank you times a kajillion. This work is called Son of an Almas. It's about a Mongolian folktale where this Yeti type monster is hunted down, captured, this rando frees her, then a R-rated moment, they have a little Hanyo baby, and eventually that kid gets old enough to go to a prestigious monastery where he becomes a very famous scholar. Minus the Bigfoot boobs, it's really an interesting piece that tells an entire story with just one image. That does give us some interesting folklore about creatures like Bigfoot. Even according to the movie Missing Link, Susan and the others like him are just man who did not evolve. So they're basically just selectively breeding to never get new genes, like being less hairy. But what I know, mostly from the movie X-Men, whenever a gene mutation has occurred and mankind has stepped forward in the evolutionary process, the previous dominant form of people disappear rapidly. Like the new mutation takes over until the old group doesn't exist anymore. So with all that random knowledge in mind, I think the elder hates Susan because he's a half-breed. Think about it. It's mentioned several times that Susan knows that he doesn't live forever, so he's not immortal, which makes me question, how did he end up up all alone? Susan had to have parents. What happened to them? And what happened to his grandparents and siblings and uncles and everybody else? We could chalk it up to hunters killing them all off, but the movie does make a big deal that no one's ever found a Sasquatch before. So obviously no one's been able to kill or capture one if that's the case. So even if Sasquatches like to live alone, which we know Susan doesn't, how did Susan end up being the only one of his kind in North America? Well, and stay with me here, this is gonna get weird. My headcanon is that Sasquatches don't breed very often, so Susan's mother was the last of their kind, and she's this big, sexy, hairy avocado wandering around the forest one day, and she runs into this human guy that's all like, "Hey baby," and they hook up, and the guy goes back to civilization, and the sexy avocado ends up pregnant. She raises her baby, dies years later, and then Susan's left all alone, which eventually prompted Susan to reach out to Sir Lionel Frost to help him find his genetic cousins, the mean Yetis. Because, you know, probably a very, very low chance that Susan would find a female human willing to mate with him. Just saying, that type of relationship really only works one way for reproduction purposes. And really, as gross as this theory feels now that I've said it out loud, there you have it. The elder hated Susan and broke down into a rant about humans because she could see what Susan couldn't, that he wasn't part of the unevolved world. Susan had a human father and was more closely linked to mankind than Yeti kind. So they didn't want Susan in their paradise because he brought in the genes of man with him, which is what their entire world is trying to preserve against. It might not be reality, but come on, this one's pretty good, right? It's gross, but it's pretty good. I think so, at least. And if you guys are ever near the Columbus, Ohio area, please check out Cosi. It is a fun, great, amazing experience. Hashtag not sponsored. And cut. No derps today. What do you want me to sing? There's no song related to this. There's nothing. Do you want me to burst into Sweeney Todd? Because I could do it, but nobody's gonna like it. He means to marry me Monday. What shall I do? I'd rather die. I'll swallow poison on Sunday. That's what I'll do. I'll get some lie. Oh dear, is that a noise? I think I heard a noise. It's the gate. It's the gate. Was I there? Still it was a noise. Was it a noise? You must have heard that kiss me. Oh, say, I miss. Oh, sir, he means to marry me Monday. What shall I do? I'll die before. It's Friday, virtually Sunday. What can we do with time so short? Yeah, I don't know the words because she talks too fast. So cut. I'm out of here. Well, that's all I have for now, but this video's not quite over yet. I get a lot of comments that say, do a theory on this topic, but I've already done those theories. So please consider going to my main channel page and clicking on the video tab so that way you can see everything I've done. You will probably find a lot of things you like that you never even knew that I posted. I want to let you know that I also have two other channels, Say Halo Goodbye Gaming and the Fanily Family Vlogs. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope you enjoyed enough to hit subscribe and share. I can use all the help I can get to let other people know that this channel exists. And if you made it this far, leave me a comment that says something like, hey, I made it to the end, and then let me know what kind of videos you want to see in the future. I can't make any promises, but the more people that request something, the more I can look into it. Okay, well, I love you. I'll see you in the next video.